Okay, so now I'm at the end. I've got, basically I've served from the center to 6 inches and then out to 6 inches on this side. So what I'll do is I'll pull off about 10 inches of serving, cut that. And what I do is I make a little loop with my finger, if you can see from there, over on the end, and I bring the end of the loop to the inside of this larger loop I made. Then, while holding this inside loose end in place, what I do is I start wrapping that with this loop. And the loop will actually pick up thread from the main serving and bring it over to the end. I just wrap this for about half an inch or so, half an inch, 3/4 of an inch. You want it to be about the same as the overlap you had at the beginning of your serving. So now that I've moved about half an inch, I take my loose end here, bring it under the wrap, and then I start wrapping it again with this loop. And basically what I'm doing is I'm wrapping over the loose end. Alright, so you just keep wrapping down to the end. Once you've got this, you take your loose end and you just pull it tight. Now you're done with one side of your loop. So what I like to do now is take my knife and just trim the loose ends. And I'll take a little bit of super glue and just put a small dab at the end of the string and where the little piece is tucked in. Okay, so now this loop is done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to basically trim off this excess. So you want to take the anchor cord, where, you know, in the beginning when you first anchored your string material, it will come off like this. So you take that, and with a sharp knife, you just trim that off. And you want to go from the other side, and you want to take that, pull it back, and trim it. And so now you've secured your string. Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually loosen this up and swing the string around to the other side. Okay, so now we take our pivot and loosen it. You just want to bring it in just a little bit so that the string goes slack and it'll move. And you want to take the string and actually push it over these screws here. And you want to bring your newly served section all the way to this end post here. Now that it's at the end post, you want to make sure that it's nice and even. You just want to go ahead and adjust it until both sides are even. Okay. So now that both sides are even like this, you can see, you want to go ahead and tighten down the pivot once more. So now that this is tight, you want to go ahead and serve this section right here. So I'm going to serve that and I'll show you what that looks like. Now that you've got your second loop served, what you want to do is loosen the string again. Just loosen it up a little bit. And then you want to pivot this around so that the other end stays on the center. You just want to bring this end, you want to bring this end so that the string is nice and tight. At this point, you just want to pull it fairly tight, and then you want to tighten your pivot arm again. So now the ends of this serving and the serving on the other side are pretty much flush. Now what we're going to do is first measure. Okay, so for a 5-inch loop, if you can see, I need to start my serving right around here. What I'm going to be doing is moving the strings just a little bit so that there's about half an inch or so of stagger. So I'm going to start my serving here. A little more than half an inch will be serving over both sides. Then it'll switch to be serving over only one side, and then I'll serve down the string. And I'm going to go for about 4 inches of serving. So I've got my other serving thread. It's kind of a neat effect, especially on longer loops, to have the serving thread be different colors. It's just something I like to do. You can use all the same color. So